Fellow Toastmasters, and we will now proceed to the International Speech Contest. The International Speech Contest will consist of a series of timed 5 to 7 minute speeches that will be judged by a panel of judges. The contestants and the judges have certified their eligibility. The contest chair and the chief judges have confirmed the eligibility of the contestants and the judges. Mr. Contest Chair, have all the contestants and contest officials been briefed? Are all the contestants present? And are we ready to proceed with the contest?
Yes, Mr. Contest Master, all contestants and contest officials have been briefed, and we are ready to be inspired with these speeches.
Brilliant. For the information of everyone, the chief judge for this contest is Distinguished Toastmaster Richard John Cuajo. Mr. Chief Judge, have all the judges been briefed, and are we ready to proceed with the contest?
Yes, all judges are ready, briefed, and excited to judge the contest.
Thank you very much. In order to allow the judges time to mark their judging forms, we will observe 1 minute of silence after the contestant's speech. Timekeepers, will one of you signal me when 1 minute of silence is up?
Yes.
Great. Silence shall also be observed after the last contestant's speech until all ballots have been collected. The speaking order for the contest was determined earlier by having our contestants draw for position. The order of the contestants will be contestant number 1, Amelie Teresita Alegre. Contestant number 2, Andrea Santiago. Contestant number 3, Lara Francesca Lasam. Contestant number 4, Paulo Villavicencio. Contestant number 5, Ken Abram Nang. Contestant number 6, Alexandre Mateus Pakturan. Contestant number 7, Rafik Ahmed. Each contestant will be introduced only by his or her name and the title of the speech. I will then repeat the title of the speech and the contestant's name. Are there questions from the contestants or our role takers and contest officials? Going once, going twice. Since there are no questions regarding the proceedings, the International Speech Contest will now begin. Contestant number 1, please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is my audio clear?
Yes. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
The timer is visible on my end.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 1, Amelie Teresita Alegre, the breakthrough. The breakthrough, Amelie Teresita Alegre.
I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. Am I? Have you ever seen yourself this way whenever you look in the mirror? Let's be real, I don't. There were days that I didn't feel good about myself, days that I didn't feel appreciated, especially when I was still huge. See these pants? These were mine. A memento that reminded me that size mattered and that people will look at you differently. And that made me despise the way that I look at myself. Yes, I was overweight until I decided to make that change and take control of my life. In 2018, at 5'2", I weighed 72 kilos with 38 inches waistline. I was excessively huggable at that time. I said, it's fine. I love my weight. until I experienced body shaming. People started calling me names. Amalita, Chabelita, Babe. You thought that's cute, but it was reference from the movie Pig in the City. And that took a huge toll on me, emotionally and mentally. I felt lost, insecure, hopeless, and depressed. Over and over for how many months I thought, there's no escape from this. But little did I know, I would find that breakthrough that year. Change is hard. And I have 3 realizations that I wanted to share with you that I had while enduring that change. First is that change is meant for you to learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. In my case, it was the experience when I started working out in the gym. At first, I said, it's a scary idea. People there are muscular. Who am I kidding? I don't want to go there. But I still did enroll myself because enough is enough. I don't want to complain no more. I don't want to be called Chabelita anymore. So I worked out 6 to 7 times a day. And my best friend was the treadmill. Until this coach approached me and he said, hey, Ama, let's do your goals together. Let's do strength training and bodybuilding. Say what now? What is he talking about? No, thank you. Hard pass. What is he thinking? Imagine a chubby girl lifting weights. That's insane. But I said yes. Why not? He's the expert. So I did his program for 6 months and I eventually saw Ama 2.0. So I'm going to tell you during the process that I went through that change, the second realization is all about no pain, no gain. The one tied up here is having those sacrifices and pain. When I started lifting, it wasn't about perfection. It was about progression and building habits. Though I always wake up saying, I don't want to do this anymore. My body is in so much pain. It was like this for several months. I thought I'm going to quit, but I had the late onset of muscle soreness. At 26, I thought I had rheumatism, but it's not. My body is adjusting. Hear this, I also had to change my diet from a favorite rice, bacon, and fried eggs to veggies, lean meats, and boiled eggs only. It was sad and tough. To top that, I had to drop my drinking buddy, which is alcohol, and replace it with water and find pleasure on it. But these are the things that you have to embrace because there are no shortcuts. And you have to go through that long, rigorous journey. So always think about that end goal. When people started seeing my body transformation, that felt good. They are celebrating, praising, complimenting me that I look good. But there's more to that. Why do I still feel empty inside? Why do I still feel it's not good enough, even if I lost the weight already? That led me to my third realization that the change you do is for you, not anyone else, but for yourself. Believe me, not everyone's going to be happy in your progress. Some of them will have snide comments. I remember people saying, hey, Anna, what happened to you? You don't look good. Change it back. If you keep on wanting to please people, you will never be happy. You will never see yourself this good or be satisfied in yourself fully. So don't lose sight that you do this change for you. Take it from Chabelita to Atleta, from overweight to the athlete. Change starts from within. All you got to do is try. And one day you can confidently say, I am beautiful. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I ask the next contestant to get ready?
I know, no, for now, I know you're Okay, nasa like 1 minute of silence.
One minute is up. Let us proceed to the next contestant. Contestant number 2, please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon, Contest Master.
Thank you. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
Yes, the timer is visible to me.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 2, Andrea Santiago. Lessons from a 3-year-old. Lessons from a 3-year-old, Andrea Santiago.
What can you learn from a 3-year-old child? Cry for attention? Run naked? Draw on the wall? No, not from Sophia. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I am Andrea, but my lovely niece calls me Andeng because she cannot pronounce the letter R. Year 1. A miracle baby was born. She was named Sophia, meaning wisdom in Greek. She was born 5 weeks ahead of schedule because her mother, my sister, has a chronic kidney disease. Sophia's lungs and heart were underdeveloped. This fragile child had to breathe through a tube, and her heart pumps with the help of a machine. Her doctor said her survival is very slim. Despite the complications, our family stayed hopeful. A month passed, Sophia's condition improved, and she was finally home. Every time I would carry her in my arms, I feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Our little fighter! I will spoil you with love and will give you chocolates when mom isn't around. Sophia is our family's reminder that every life is a struggle worth fighting for. Year 2. This new normal has its own silver linings. I was able to work from home and spend more time with my family. But the problem with this setup is having an active toddler around you. One morning at 10 o'clock, I heard from the other room, "Ate, it's time to play." I was still talking to my boss when my baby boss grabbed my arm and pulled me to my mom's garden. Once there, she was so excited to pick the flowers and throw them in the air. She gazed at the sky and screamed every time there's an airplane, airplane. She ran around while enjoying the breeze. And then, it's so beautiful here. Watching Sophia find joy in the simple things made me realize that there is more to life beyond my job. I used to be glued to my desk, drowned in spreadsheets, and only stood up when I needed to pee. But at that moment, Sophia reminded me that there's so much beauty in life if you only just pause and look around. Year 3 was the most challenging year for our family. One morning at 10 o'clock, I heard from the other room, Ane! Ane! It wasn't her usual scream. I dropped everything at work and ran towards Sophia. There I found her crying as she shook the stiff body of my sister. My sister had a stroke. It was caused by a tumor in her heart, which needed to be removed for an operation. While the doctors were discussing about the procedure, thoughts clouded our family. Is there a safer alternative? 1.5 million pesos for the operation? Will my sister survive given her chronic kidney disease? I was so terrified of the thought of losing my sister. I didn't want Sophia to grow up without a mom. After talking to the doctors, my sister asked Sophia, Sophia, do you know what will happen to mommy? Yes, mommy. The doctors will open your chest and fix your heart. Will I allow them to open my chest? Yes, mommy. I want your heart to feel better because I want to play with you. I can sing while they open your chest so the pain will go away. We couldn't believe a 3-year-old said those words. Wisdom we didn't expect from Sophia. While we were all worried about the risk, the cost, the outcome, Sophia only wanted her mom to live and to hope that she'll pull through. And because of Sophia's encouragement, my sister gained the strength to push through with her operation. Months after, her condition improved, and she was finally home. Sophia lived up to her name, full of wisdom. As young as she is, she gave me a different perspective. As we grow older, we tend to overlook the beauty of life. We often wonder why we feel so uninspired. And when we look at kids, we feel jealous of how they're so carefree, so happy, so candid. But that's not always true. What have I learned from a 3-year-old Sophia? As a baby, Sophia reminded me that every life is a struggle worth fighting for. At 2, Sophia reminded me to pause and appreciate the little things. And at 3, she gave our family hope and strength amidst all challenges in life. Sophia makes us smile even in difficult times. She is our miracle baby and our source of wisdom. I am truly blessed to have her in my life. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I ask the next contestant to get ready? One minute is up. Let us proceed to the next contestant. Contestant number 3. Please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Great, yes, you are. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 3, Lara Francesca Lasam. Believe. Believe, Lara Francesca Lasam.
Just a girl, but she's on fire. Filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, what is your fire? Summer of 2012, my cousins and I were preparing to be backup dancers at a local festival at San Vicente po, Olango Island. When suddenly, the entire barrio went dark, and I had the urge to answer the call of nature. The girl's gotta pee. And so off I went to an adventure I didn't know it was. With a candle in hand, I braved towards the comfort room. Halfway through bringing my shorts up, a loud bang followed by a split second of a light so bright I couldn't believe my eyes. And the next thing I knew was I was on fire. Everything was on fire. I screamed and I shouted and I banged the door. This only happens in the movies, right? This can't be real. I saw a bucket of hopes. I will wake up because this is just a dream, right? Just a really bad dream, right? But it wasn't. I was still there. I was still on fire. We miraculously got out. And as we went out to seek refuge to the outside world, I stopped, looked at myself in the mirror, and asked, who will I be after this? At every point in our lives, we identify as something. Our name, our hobby, our status. For a huge chunk of mine, I identified with burns. A year as a burn patient, 7 years as a burn survivor, and a year as a burn thriver. My identity, the girl on fire. The next year was spent in and out of operating rooms, screaming and crying, wrapped in bandages. Lying in the hospital bed, I asked my mom, "Ma, what will I look like after this?" And you will look more than beautiful. And I just have to believe it. The next 7 years were spent trying to seek normalcy. Instead of not being able to wear normal clothing, I wrapped masks and cardigans. I wrapped myself in long sleeves to cover my scars up, because who would want to look at me? I wouldn't. On the brighter note, instead of not being able to walk, man, I ran marathons after marathons after marathons. Instead of not being able to talk to people because of being shy of what I look like, I talked to strangers in classrooms. "Hi, I'm Lara. What's your name?" On the street. "Oh my God, we're off." And on conferences. At this one particular conference, myself and asked, "How are you able to hold your head high and stand in front of many and talk?" Believe that we are more than who we think we are. You are more than who you think you are. And you just have. The summer after the accident happened, I met a special once asked why I'm wearing masks, why I'm wearing cardigans. So I had to ask, why? It doesn't really matter because you're more than a face. You're more than what you look like. You're more than your scars. That summer, I went to the place where the accident and did exactly inside comfort. I stood tall, held my head high, off in the mirror, but this time I knew. I think and I come to believe it. Standing in front of that mirror, instead of questions, I got my answers. Who am I? I'm Lara Francesca S. Lasang, and I am more than just a girl on fire. I'm a phoenix, rise, and for as long as I live, I'll continue to stand up, fall. Fellow Toastmasters, when the fires of our lives burn us, for a little while, we identify with the scars, with away from us. But we must remember that we are more than this. You are more than your fire. You're a phoenix with the power to rise. And you just have to believe it. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I ask the next contestant to get ready? One minute is up. Let us proceed to the next contestant. Contestant number 4, please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon.
Great. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
Yes, I can confirm.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 4, Paolo Villavicencio. Small feet, big shoes. Small feet, big shoes, Paolo Villavicencio.
When I was a tiny 3-year-old boy, I would walk around the house clumsily with small feet in my dad's size 10 shoes every single day. And whenever I stumble, I would just laugh, stand up, and walk again. It's probably one of my fondest memories growing up. Has anyone here ever stepped into their parents' shoes as a child? I came from a family of giants. My dad is 6 feet tall, while I stopped growing at 5 feet and 2 inches short. That's why I was always bullied at school for being small. You're a midget! Do you ever grow? You look so weak, I can flick you with my finger. Those were the words of my elementary school bully. I pretended to brush it off, but it got stuck in my head, and I started feeling defeated. But every time my dad would learn about me being bullied, he would always tell me, "Pao, you're bigger than the person you doomed yourself to be. Stand up and fight." And fight I did. When my bully cornered me again, I stood up for myself and I punched him. Jab, straight, hook. Whew. That hurt, but that felt good. I was sent to the principal's office, but it's okay. I realized I just needed a push from my dad. But then, one day, I lost him. The only person who stood by me. There I was, a small and flimsy child, clueless of what he'll become without a father's guidance. The sorrow of losing my dad lingered until my early years in high school. It dawned on me that I had to grow up fatherless and defenseless. I felt disconnected. I felt out of place seeing my friends with complete families. I felt small and defeated again. Then I lost my self-confidence. But from that stumbling state, I remembered my father's words. "You're bigger than the person you doomed yourself to be. Stand up and fight." And fight I did. I focused my energy on my education and climbed up the corporate ladder. And just as every child experiences a growth spurt, what grew was my appetite for achievements. I was elected as the class president in my senior year, which helped me gain my confidence back. I became an academic scholar at university and graduated with academic distinction. I thrived as an educator in an international school. Then I pursued a master's degree based abroad. I stepped out of my sadness and kept moving forward. I proved that I am more than my circumstances and that I can stand on my own now that I'm a grown-up. But no matter how much I've proven that to myself, there are times when my doubts and my fears would creep in, developing into my inner saboteur. I stumble at its voice, making me too weak and too small. 2 years ago, I accepted an invitation as one of the speakers at a youth convention. But I wrestled with the idea of being the youngest and the least experienced in the field. I beat myself up as I listened to my inner saboteur's voice. "You're not good enough. You're nothing compared to them." But when I was about to concede defeat, my father's wisdom echoed in my mind. "You're bigger than the person you doomed yourself to be. Stand up and fight." And fight I did. I stood up and silenced my inner saboteur. I went to the convention with an audience of 500 young people, where I was a speaker on 3 different topics and a panelist together with the experts. I ended up receiving high praise for inspiring and empowering the youth. Mission accomplished. The moment I conquered my doubts and fears, I became unstoppable in taking big steps. Stepping into my dad's size 10 shoes when I was 3 was a catalyst to becoming the man I am today. Here I am, a 33-year-old with a shoe size of 7. still walking in big shoes while brimming with pride every single step. My dear friends, we may have times when we feel small and weak. It may even feel like the world is against us every step of the way. But remember that we always have a choice. Either we remain fallen on the ground in defeat, or we rise with courage and in victory. We may have the weakness to fall, but we also have the strength to rise. And you may have small feet now, but you can always wear big shoes and grow into them someday. And if ever you stumble along the way, just laugh, stand up, and fight. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I request the next contestant to get ready? Minute is up. Let us proceed to the next contestant. Contestant number 5. Please test your audio by good afternoon to ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon, Contest Master.
Thank you. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
Yes, the timer is visible on my screen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 5, Ken Abram Nam. A series of 4 words. A series of 4 words. Ken Abram Nam.
A few years ago, my girlfriend and I were on our way to this new cinema. And we were already halfway there. But while I was driving, Waze decides to go all wonky on me. I was lost. I didn't know which way to go. Should I have gone left? Should I have gone right? Or should I have gone straight? Well, bottom line is, we were going to be really, really late for that movie. Pleasant afternoon, contest chair, contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and friends. What would you say is the quickest way to get from point A to point B? Well, if you listened attentively in mathematics class back in the day, then your answer would be in a straight line. Sounds fairly simple, right? However, I would beg to differ. Have you ever used Google Maps or Waze on your phone? Now, if you plot out the trajectory from where you are to your destination, it will only look straight if you're zoomed out of the entire map. But as you start zooming in, little by little, more and more details begin to appear. Now, getting from one point to another will be filled with lefts, rights, and a whole lot of series of forwards. Unfortunately, that's the reality of life and the ugly truth in the pursuit of attaining our goals. And it's definitely not easy. And with the meager experience that I possess today in this so-called journey of life, I'm fortunate enough to have learned this enriching value of not focusing too much on just the end goal, but rather on appreciating the process of the journey itself. So along the way, as you journey towards the finish line, you will notice that there will be these nuggets of moments wherein you will find yourself walking, crawling on all fours, and running. 3 significant moments that I guarantee all of us have experienced or will experience. Now, I'd like to invite you to imagine and take a walk with me. And you can even hold my hand if you like. You see, when we're walking, things may seem like a quick stroll at the park. You go through the motions, the pacing is very comfortable, and everything is just going according to plan. Come to think of it, walking does remind me of what it was like back in my elementary days, where in hindsight, I admittingly really had little to zero problems. I would wake up in the morning, go to school, study, come back home, and repeat the same thing 5 times a week. But however, see, life, it throws its curveballs at you. Whoa! Watch out now. Low headroom, okay? You might want to hold my hand a bit tighter. Start crawling with me. Be careful not to bop your head, though. I'm going to cut to the chase and let you know that crawling is going to be grueling, painful, and the longest emotional moments that you're going to go through. And to some, they may even coin this as the dark ages of their journey. You'd find yourself stagnant, stuck, and especially wanting to give up, but that's the essence of crawling. Back in 2009, I had this opportunity to visit Taiwan and meet a relative of mine who was graduating from the military Marine Corps program. Now, their final graduation course of the trainees entails them to crawl through a bed of rocks and sharp corals with the length of almost 2 basketball courts. Just imagine, they weren't even allowed to use their hands. And officers, they'd pour buckets of salt water on them, on their wounds to increase the pain at every single checkpoint. I don't know about you, but for me, that is one gruesome and painful experience. What a way to describe crawling, right? The good news here is that at the end of every dark moment, there will always be a ray of sunshine. Crises and moments of crawling will not last forever. See, the rain would eventually cease, and that's the moment where you stand up and begin running. Run! It's such an exhilarating feeling. Oh, that brings me back so many memories of when I launched my business venture just 2 years ago. I was just a junior in university back then, but I remembered ideas just kept flooding in, and I kept running to ensure that I get to execute all the plans that I had. The feeling of recovering from a drought and being refueled with so much passion and inspiration is just amazing. And you'd find yourself in a continuous momentum, like nothing in this world could stop you. We're all running the marathon of life, ladies and gentlemen. We have our eyes set on the prize, and we do anything to get to that point. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, today you walked, crawled, and you ran with me. So here's something from me to you. Zoom in a little, just a little on that map. You see, now it's not a matter of being the quickest to the finish line anymore, but it's learning to appreciate the process of the journey and getting from point A to point B. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I request the next contestant to get ready? 1 minute is up. Let us proceed to the next contestant. Contestant number 6. Please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon. My camera is working.
Great. Can you confirm that the timer is visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 6, Alexandre Mateus Paturan. Stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen. Alexandre Mateus Paturan.
Stop, look, and listen. Those were the words that my dad told me. I was still young back then, and I took everything literally. I literally stopped and would just look around and listen if there were any cars or motorcycles passing by. When everything's good, I cross the road. Contest chair, judges, and fellow Toastmasters, let me share with you how those 3 simple words can change your life. During my grade school years, I was a small kid. I was the favorite to go to of tall kids, aka bullies. Oh, look, there's Alex, so small and so cute. And everyone would laugh. I couldn't do or say anything. I would rather be quiet than to get hurt. But my unexpressed emotions started to pile up until I couldn't take it anymore. I braved my way by talking back. Stop it! You can't treat me like this. Mr. Tall Kid instantly slammed me, and I chipped a tooth. But that exact moment, my resolve to not be bullied grew stronger. I decided to join a martial arts club. I learned karate. Over the years of high school to college was a series of learning self-defense and joining yearly competitions. And the vivid memories that stuck with me was when I was in college. I always joined the kata competitions, the one that is an exhibition of a martial arts skill or movement. What I usually don't join, ironically, sparring competitions. The gym where we held the competition was huge. People and contestants everywhere. And this ambience, this pressure, this sight is a trigger of nervousness and excitement for all the players. But I was not excited at all. It was my last year in college, and I finally decided to join a sparring competition. I was nervous, dead nervous. I stopped and concentrated. I looked to my surroundings, to the floor, and I listened to my heartbeat. I can do this, I said to myself. And then the announcer calls my name. This is it. This is happening. First match. I got punched on the face. But I felt weird. More than the pain, it felt good. I felt alive. I felt excited. I punched and I jabbed and I kicked every time I could. I won the match. It was unbelievable. Second match, I got kicked on my gut. A sense of danger, a sense of pleasure, and a sense of thrill overcoming my body. I did not stop attacking. I won the match. A small guy can actually win this competition. Here comes the championship match. My opponent was a black belter, but I didn't care in the ranking as I was on fire. Confidence was all over my face. The match started. All of my attacks got blocked, got deflected, and did not connect. I started to doubt myself. I attacked again, but I got countered. This time, there was no excitement. It was only pain that I could feel. I felt cold. It was not going well. He had 1 point, I got 0 points. As I was about to attack again, my coach yelled at me, "Stop what you're doing and think. Look at your opponent and focus. Listen to me." His words stopped me. I focused. Big breaths. I looked at my opponent, observed his style. He threw a punch and I countered. I connected my punch to his face. I got a point. Oh my goodness. I did it. We are 1-1. One more point and I can win this. When the referee said start, Mr. Black Belter rushed and threw a roundhouse kick. I instantly fell on my knees. I could not hear anything, but only the sound, similar to a vital sign monitor when someone dies at the hospital. I literally stopped. I look at the floor. It was like everything was in slow motion. But then I heard the crowded voice slowly increasing in volume. "Alex, Alex, Alex." People were cheering for me. I slowly stood up. The match did not end yet as the kick was considered a foul. Was I lucky? Maybe, but I had another shot, another chance. I was still groggy, but I came this far. I'm not giving up now. Just 1 point, 1 shot, 1 chance. Boom! I scored the final point. I won. Stop, look, and listen. It's simple, but it helped me get through. When I was a kid, I took it literally. Later in life, I took it figuratively. Life will always present us opportunities to knock us down, physically, mentally, spiritually. What do we have in control? We are in control over how we act towards challenges. We are in control over how we perceive an experience. We are always in control over how we respond to an event. Every time doubt attacks you, stop what you're doing and take a step back. Look around you and check the situation and listen to the facts and voices that believe in you. The real challenge, therefore, is, are you in control? In every crossroad that life offers you, it's your choice to stop, look, and listen. Contest chair.
1 minute of silence, please, while the judges mark their ballots. May I request the next contestant to get ready? One minute is up. Let us proceed to the final contestant. Contestant number 7, please test your audio by saying good afternoon and ensure that your camera is working.
Good afternoon, and I have already pinned the timer.
Ladies and gentlemen, contestant number 7, Rafiq Ahmed. Loud and proud. Loud and proud, Rafiq Ahmed.
It was race day at school, and the crowd was going crazy with excitement, cheering for the fastest kid in the race. Come on, faster, faster! And one man in the crowd was cheering the loudest. Come on, son, come on! He was cheering for the slowest kid in the race, who ran like a penguin, holding his short pants. The kid that placed last. 25 years ago, that fat penguin was me. And that man who was the loudest in the crowd was my father. Do you have someone that cheers for you, loud and proud? Contest master? Do you, sons, daughters, and friends, have someone that supports you unselfishly, undoubtedly, unconditionally? Well, for as long as I can remember, it has always been my one-man cheering squad, my number one fan, the loudest in the crowd, my father. And no matter what the event was, he was always there. He was there at my dance competitions. He was there at my spelling bees. He was even there at my ballet performances. Oh no, don't judge me on that one, because it never really mattered to him whether I was the best or the worst. Win or lose, he was always loud and proud of me. But as time passed, he grew older and louder, and I grew older and grumpier. He said yes, I said no. Our conversations grew shorter, our arguments grew longer. Finally, when we reached that day, it was my graduation day. I was dressed in my best, ready to impress, and I was ready to go on stage to receive my degree. I even had the biggest smile on my face for the camera. And suddenly, I was interrupted by a loud scream from the crowd. That's my son! That's my son! I wasn't sure if it was his loud voice, or the clothes that he wore, or the fact that I was not a child anymore. But I felt embarrassed. And that embarrassment fueled my anger. So as soon as I got back home, I went up to him with the intention of hurting him with my words. And I said, when will you ever stop embarrassing me? I hate you. I wish you would just go away. My words pierced his heart. And I left him that day with nothing but silence. A year passed. And in my pursuit of pleasing, performing, and perfecting my art of public speaking, I got another opportunity to be on stage, this time to give a speech. And I was nervously waiting for my turn when suddenly I noticed a familiar face in the unfamiliar crowd. Oh no, he's back. I thought I told him to go away. Why is he here? Is he here to embarrass me again? Oh no, what do I do? What do I? They were calling my name on stage. I reluctantly went up on stage, but my mind was fixed on him. And before I could utter those first few words, I lost my train of thought. I forgot my speech. I stood there frozen. And there was a deafening silence in the crowd. No one was cheering for me. I looked at him and I noticed tears glistening down his cheeks. What have I done? all these years. He's not here to embarrass me. All these years, he was not the anchor that held me back. He was the anchor that helped me stand. And now I silenced the one voice that cheered the loudest for me. I looked at him and, as if to beg him for his forgiveness, as if to plead to him to cheer for me one more time. And almost immediately, the deafening silence was shattered. Come on, son, come on. I had a sense of accomplishment that day. Not because I won an award or the applause, but because I won back my one-man cheering squad, my number one fan, my father. And up until this day, no matter what the event is, I always make sure that he's there for me. In fact, you're all lucky here today that it's a closed group contest. So he's not here to cheer for me the loudest. But I've learned to follow in his footsteps. I have a 9-year-old daughter, Shireen, in Cebu, whom I cheer for at her best and her worst. Win or lose, I am always loud and proud of her. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have someone that cheers for you? Sons, daughters, and friends, do you have someone that supports you unselfishly, undoubtedly, unconditionally? Well, if you do, then hold on to them. Because there will come a time when you will search for that familiar face in the unfamiliar crowd. So let them be there for you. And if they want to be loud, well, tell them to bring their drums and trumpets and horns and cheer for you loud and proud. Contest Master.
Could we please have silence until all the judges have completed their scores? Judges, please communicate with the Chief Judge when you have completed them. Mr. Chief Judge, please let me know when all the ballots have been received.